Jim Breedlove, Chairman of the Macon County Board of Education.
I'm not going to have a speaker where I can walk around like the superintendent did, so you're stuck with me standing in one place. I hope I don't bore you to death tonight, because I'm going to throw a lot of figures out at you. And the sad part of it is none of it's good. None of the figures are good as we go into it. But I'm hoping by the time I finish, you will get some idea of what the Macon County Board of Education has to struggle with this year as far as finances go. We do have our other two board members, by the way, in attendance. Mr. Gary Shields is here. Vice Chairman, Mr. Tommy Cade, is also here. And I can promise you, we all take our duties and our call very, very seriously. I'm going to start out by giving you some numbers, so bear with me again. Just listen to what, as we go through. The first one I'm going to use is $174,000. The second figure I'm going to say is $673,000. Next figure, $905,000. Next figure, $1,265,000. $1,065,000. Those are figures summed up over a 5-year period, which totals $4,082,000. That, my friends, is the figure that the state of North Carolina, through what's called reversion, has taken away from Macon County schools. Every year we go in and the legislature will meet, and they give you, I think you heard what Chris mentioned, it's called the ADM, your planning allotment. And off of that we work and we try to come up with the best budget that we can. And we go in thinking this is what we is. So reversion works something like this. I'm going to use last year as the example. And this is very naive, but hopefully it makes sense. We were told by the state of North Carolina that we could expect to receive from our allotment $25,352,000. And that's what we had to use to make our, try to make a budget. However, if you remember that big figure, after telling us that, then they come back to us and say, well, we're so sorry, but guess what? You've got to find ways to pull out of what we said you could have to make up that difference. Now, how many of y'all in your household budget would like to be faced with something like that? It's not easy, folks. And it's going here. And I'm going to kind of repeat some things that Chris just said to kind of tell you what took place this year. Starting our budget process, we were told through plan allotment, we were told, and we'll see if Chris nods his head, pretty much, this is what you expect this year. So we went into our budget process, and we had expected to receive about $25,490,000. So we did our best. We took that figure, and even as we started out, we were told or warned that we would probably not receive about $1,096,000 of that figure. And we took that into account. What we did is we sat down, and at the beginning of the year, we found about $917,000 that we said, it's going to hurt, but we're going to try to make this cut, to try to keep our children and give them the best education we can. And in the interim, we've done even more than that. As Chris was telling you, we have now but we've attrited 14 teacher positions. We've attrited teacher assistants positions by some of around 10, I think it is, Chris. We are now having 2 of our elementary schools that do not have assistant principals. Now, folks, think about what we're talking about. We have elementary schools with young children who need to be educated. We have one principal trying to oversee that, and he has no help. He or she has no help in the form of a lead teacher or assistant principal. That is not good, okay? So we start out at $917,000, and through things that we've done, we've actually cut well over $1.1 million. So that leads me into the final version. So we started out this year, we made cuts that we felt. We've actually gone over and above, we felt like. So working off our plan allotment of what I just said, $25,490,000. We did our best, figured about $1.1 million. Well, here's what the state did to us. And I'm going to see if Chris nods his head on this also. Instead of reversion, they looked at us and sent a message and said, we're going to take care of you all. We're going to take care of what you have. We're going to look at the areas that you have cut in the past, where you reverted funds and didn't use those, and we're going to do that for you. We see the percentages that you've taken out of your teachers' allotments. We see the portions that you've taken out of textbook supplies, and we will take care of you. We will take care of that for you. So I'm going to look at you and say, can you imagine what our faces looked like when we found out? It wasn't 1.1 million that they took. It's $1.6 million that we just simply didn't receive. Folks, that's not easy. It is not. It's very sobering. And the sad part of it is that everyone here that came out tonight, we did it for one reason, and that is try to educate our children the best we can. Well, what's going on is that due to the actions our state is taking, we can no longer give the children the education they deserve at this point. Every morning I wake up and I say, thank God Macon County has the type of educators that we have, because if we didn't, our children would be suffering. We have the best teachers we ever had. So in wrapping up, I'm sorry if I bored you with all the numbers, but I hope it made an impression on you to understand being a board member is not an easy job anymore. Being a teacher is definitely not an easy job. When you're over, as you said, we've seen the things where class levels are going up, you're having to teach more children, you don't have your instructional supplies. Our teachers have to take time to make copies in lieu of textbooks because we don't have the money to buy the textbooks. I'll say one final thing and then we'll hush. When you see your county commissioners on the street, I do want you to walk up to them and say thank you from Macon County Schools. Without their help, this year, for example, they increased the amount that we give us. This year, their allotment was $7.3 million. And it's like one of the commissioners said, it should not be up to our county to fund education. That should be the responsibility of the state of North Carolina. It doesn't work out that way. Our commissioners have stepped up. They've helped us bridge the gap that we have, and then we're able to hopefully give and continue to give our children what they deserve. Thank you.